Grand Rising. You know what my biggest pet peeve is? That I wake up at the same time just about every day, even if I didn't sleep well. I'll be trying to like go back to sleep and I can't. That shit pisses me off. I didn't sleep well. But anyway, I mean, I think this is why though. But I wanted to try something new. So I'm trying something, okay? I'll let y'all know how it turned out. Anyways. Today we're going to talk about, remember when I mentioned the men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and the Mr. Fix It and let women vent, right? Well, I actually got an example of that in music. You know it's Jake. But it's important because I want people to think of how many times you have heard some type of conflict in music, and we have a tendency to, you know, follow the this goes back to nepotism conversation, but we have a tendency to follow the celebrities. We follow their lifestyles. We relate. That's the whole point of some of the music, is that we do relate to it. And so I heard the I'm singing the song. Aaron's like, why do you keep singing that song? I'm like, I don't know. But then I would hear, what? I can't solve your problem. You say your problems never needed solving. I was too good till you should have stayed silent. Nice guys always finish off where they started. That is an example of he's essentially saying he's trying to fix things for her. She don't want it fixed. Just be there, right? And it caused an argument. It caused for them to break up. It caused for them to split. Drake, you're going to get in a relationship this year. You have to, okay? I'm trying to give you all the pointers as to what's wrong with you. I'm just kidding. But, so think about how many people listen to that and they're like, yeah, I agree. And it's like literally the only thing you need to do is shut the fuck up when she's talking about her problems. Another one, there's an article that I had. I don't think I'll be able to get it, but there was an article that I read where it was telling you what kind of music you listen to is an indication of what attachment style, that you, one, an attachment style that you either have, or shit. Let me see if I can find it. I got so many things open, and it's across all three phones too. It's showing me like every single thing I have open on all three phones, which is something around 150 tabs. Damn. I don't know. It doesn't even matter. But ultimately, your music can show the type of attachment style you have, and one of those songs on that list was a Drake song, Hotline Bling. It was it indicated an anxious attachment style, right? So just thought I would throw that one out there. I feel like I have a fan, like a person that likes me, right? Hey, hi, how you doing? I really find it to be like interesting how you incorporate me subtly into your content. I really like that. It makes me blush. I'm like, oh shit. Stop. Stop it. You're gonna get your little feelings hurt, okay? Anyways, moving on. Gents, you do not have to stay here for this because it's kind of gross. It's between me and the ladies, okay? 454. It's between me and the ladies. And Kevin Gates. All right, so came across a Kevin Gates video. It's like so weird because he's like, I can't explain it, but he had mentioned something about like women's cycles and how we're cleansing actually the energy and not necessarily our bodies. I was like, oh, okay, that's an interesting take. I could see that. You know, I'm woke and shit. I don't know everything though, and I've never claimed to know everything. So sometimes I hear stuff, I'm like, oh wow, I don't know why I never thought of that before. Okay, ladies. When I took that break, I took a break. I took like a 4-month break, okay? And during that break, I was going to the doctor and stuff. And I had mentioned earlier that I was given birth control to help with the skin, but I haven't taken it because I'm not into that. There's things that can balance my hormones, and I plan on doing them soon. It just takes like a lot of discipline that I don't have at this time. But anyway, I was given birth control to try to control my skin, but the major reason that I was given birth control is because I was experiencing heavy clotting. I mean, heavy. Okay, disgusting. Yeah, so guys, about to talk about some girl shit. You can skedaddle. I'm not gonna hold you hostage here, okay? This is for women. Hey, when I say disgusting, remember I use a Femi cup, right? My Femi cup will be full within like an hour, 2 hours, and it's supposed to be a 12-hour wear, which I've never really been able to do that anyway. But this gradually progressed. This progressed over the course of a year, okay? So I remember when I said I got the Femi cup, okay? And then from that point, I maybe had it for, it had been over a year that I'd been using it. And there were some things that I considered, which was that I have not been on birth control for years, okay? But I have always been on birth control. So I had always been on birth control from the age of 16, okay? And I make mistakes with my birth control and stuff like that. But ultimately, since I was 16 years old, I've been altering my hormones, okay? That's the first thing. So after having Aaron and getting my tubes tied, I didn't have a need for birth control, or so I thought, right? So that was the first thing that I considered. The second thing was that I had always used, like tampons, pads, and stuff like that, which also has chemicals in it that can alter your insides, okay, and your outsides. It can alter your chemistry, okay? So those are two things that I had thought about, and I was like, well, maybe it's because I haven't, but I actually haven't been on birth control since I had Aaron. So Aaron is 5, so 6 years that I haven't been on birth control. Because you can't be on birth control, you're pregnant. And so like when I went to the doctor and I'm explaining that I am experiencing this, the suggestion was to go back on the very same birth control that I had used. And I was like, so I'm confused here. So are you saying that everyone is experiencing like thinning of the endometrial lining as a result of birth control? Like, are you basically, it was being said to me like the clotting is normal, just go on birth control. Right? But I never got to show him. I actually had taken pictures and then I deleted them. Those were not normal. They were not normal. There's no way like that's how you're supposed to be, right? That's why I was very sure that wasn't normal and that it wasn't like an issue of needing to thin the lining. I mean, this man was going to put me in surgery if I consented to thin out the lining. Okay. Then there was like a cervical cancer scare that came back normal. And that actually also can have like heavy clotting as well. So when that came back normal, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I mean, I had one day where I was passing clots and I actually passed out because it was so painful. I passed out. Okay, woke up like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Very intense. Yeah, as soon as I kicked that girl in my life, that stopped completely. Like, no more. I've had 3 regular cycles ever since. So I bring it back to Kevin Gates. I know that was like a really long, drawn out story, but I bring it back to Kevin Gates and what he said about women are actually clearing out the energy in the house and not necessarily just cleansing the body. I don't know why I didn't know that. And there's things that I do know. Like, I try not to wash my hair or shave when I'm on my cycle because in Hindu culture, they believe when you're on your cycle that you're opening yourself up when you mess with your hair. Like to entities and stuff. Yeah. So I see it. And shit like that. But I just thought I would mention that. And I'm mentioning that because they just reminded me that it's about to be my cycle, which it would be correct because we're coming up on a full moon, right? But it's so weird that the internet knows what my cycle is, but it's important because it is a spiritual thing. And I'm finding it to be more evident as I'm experiencing this stuff. No birth control was needed. Like, I've never taken the birth control that was prescribed, obviously. And he told me that was what would make the clotting stop. That's what he told me. Okay, he was gonna put me on medication. Which, I mean, birth control isn't necessarily, I wouldn't consider it like a medication per se. I would call it like, they have a word like hormonal therapy, right? That's what I would call birth control. But he was going to put me on medication for that. He was going to put me on hormonal therapy for that. Told me that that was the only way to stop it. Or I was either going to do that or I could have an operation to thin the lining, right? Shit stopped. As soon as I cut ties, it all stopped. And it's been like the most wonderful, I can't explain it. It's like complete 180. I cannot explain it except for that must be what it is. Absorption of the negative energy. And like I said, it progressed over a course of that year. Okay, like a very evident change in like it started very small, then they gradually got bigger. I mean, huge. Okay, if you're a guy, you do not want to stay here. I see like 2 people on my channel right now. If you're a guy, you do not want to stay here. Just so you know, this is between us ladies. But anyway, gradually, like I said, the cup's supposed to be 2 hours and or 12 hours and it was full within 2. So gradually getting worse, gradually having more cramping, gradually and I was like, oh, it must be, when he said birth control, I was like, oh, it must be that because I haven't been on birth control for 5 years. It commonly takes the body like 1 to 2 years to repair after a child, and then I've been through some like real traumatic stuff, so this must be normal. And you're right, I need to go back on I'm so glad that I followed my intuition on that, because I was like kind of skeptical, like why the fuck would you start, why if I've been on birth control my entire life, that means that one, either what I'm experiencing is completely normal, and this is what happens when you don't alter your hormones, or two, there's some kind of other explainable reason why this is happening. And it's the girl and the family, and like I was literally, it was negative energy. It was negative energy. Cause I've been great. I feel like I spent a lot of time on that, but I just want to reiterate how, like, if you see a change in your cycle, look around at the people you're with, look at your job, look at whatever it is, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is now. Like, I'm certain. You do a trial and error. Explain to me why a doctor was ready to perform an operation, or and the operation was for a more permanent solution versus having to take medication all day. But either way, please explain to me why something that a doctor suggested, either medication or a surgery, completely subsided when a person was removed, and that surgery, that person was literally like a tumor on my body. So yeah, ladies, check yourselves. Check. You know, if you're experiencing this, I would do a test. I would highly suggest a test. I'm not a doctor. I could very much be wrong, but that's just my personal experience with it. And then, so when you think back to like when I was 16 and all these things, perhaps, because one thing is very certain is that even when I lived in the basement in Maryland, those people were toxic, but I didn't spend a lot of time around them. I would get in my car and drive, right? So I've had like 3 years of my life where I was kind of like sequestered and not really dealing with a lot of people. You know, I wasn't really dealing with my cousins and my family members. I wasn't dealing with anyone, you know, I wasn't dating really, you know. So when I had those 3 years where everything was seemingly pretty much cool, to dealing with this person every day, having that gradually progress, and I always had like really bad cramping too, and I can even say like the cramping wasn't nearly as bad when I was in Maryland. Bad, I mean, went to the hospital type bad. There's nothing they can really do for you, but you just have to make sure you're not dying or have appendicitis type cramping. Okay, so that has been the case my entire life, except for them short years in Maryland where I was like kind of away and isolated from others. And then as soon as I come back, I start experiencing all these adversities in regards to my cycle. It has to do with the energy. You're trying to process a whole lot of negative energy. Yeah, that would make sense that you would be more crampy. That would make sense that you would be passing, because if you're really truly cleansing the energy in your space, right? Whew, that is some deep shit. That is some deep shit. Okay, the jokes always be about women talking about their blood clots. Well, look what kind of niggas we be fucking. Excuse me. The term nigga is select at this point, at right now. In this moment, it's select. But you know, that's kind of a universal word, just like bitches, okay? Look at the type of men we associate with. Look at the type of friends we have. Look how our parents treat us. That is why. Possibly. You know, I'm not going to say it's facts, but that was pretty intense, you know? So, have a good day.